You ever notice how people wake up in the morning and immediately start lying to themselves? Like they open their eyes, stretch a little, and go, today's gonna be great. And you just know right then that person's about to have the worst day of their life. Because that's what happens when you challenge the universe with confidence. You throw out one little spark of optimism, and life's like, oh really? You think so? All right, let's test that. Suddenly your alarm doesn't go off, you spill coffee on your shirt, and some guy in traffic decides today's the day he's gonna teach you patience by driving exactly the speed limit in the fast lane. See, that's the thing about life, it doesn't care. It doesn't care if you've got your vision board all lined up. It doesn't care about your affirmations. It doesn't care that you're trying to attract positive energy. Life's got its own plans. It's like an old drunk guy at a bar who doesn't even know your name but keeps bumping into you anyway. And you're there trying to stay calm, whispering, I'm grateful, I'm grounded, I'm abundant, while he's just spilling his beer all over your shoes. Everyone's obsessed with positivity now. It's like the new religion. Just think positive. Like that's supposed to fix everything. I love how people say it like it's the easiest thing in the world. Think positive. Oh, sure. Yeah. Let me just stop thinking about rent, my job, my back pain, the planet melting, and that weird noise my car's been making for 3 weeks. I'll just erase all that and focus on how beautiful the clouds look today. That'll fix my transmission. And what's funny is people treat positivity like a shield. Like if they just believe hard enough, bad things will bounce off. You see them walking around like emotional superheroes, whispering mantras, journaling their gratitude, doing cold plunges at 6 a.m., and then one minor inconvenience hits, like their Wi-Fi drops for 5 minutes, and suddenly they're crying in the fetal position, wondering if Mercury's in retrograde. It's like we've forgotten that life's supposed to be hard. It's not a spa day. It's not a motivational poster with a mountain on it. It's messy, unpredictable, and half the time, it makes no sense. You can plan everything perfectly, follow every success habit, wake up early, drink your green smoothies, meditate, and then a pigeon poops directly on your head on your way to a job interview. That's life. That's how it humbles you. You can't out-positive life. It's undefeated. You can tell yourself, I'm gonna have a good day, and life goes, we'll see. It's like playing chess against a cat. You think you've got strategy, and then it just smacks the pieces off the board and walks away. And you know what's weird? The more people try to be positive, the more miserable they seem to get. Because they're constantly pretending. They're constantly denying how they actually feel. They'll say things like, no bad days and only good vibes. And you can just see in their eyes that they haven't slept in 3 nights and they're one minor inconvenience away from punching a yoga instructor. Positivity is exhausting. It's like holding in a sneeze all day. At some point, you've got to let it out. You've got to admit that things suck sometimes. That you're tired, that you're sad, that you're scared, and that's okay. Because pretending everything's fine when it's not, that's not strength, that's delusion. There's this weird guilt now, like if you're not positive all the time, you're failing at life. You can't even say, I'm having a rough day, without someone jumping in with, have you tried gratitude journaling? Yeah, I tried gratitude journaling. I'm grateful I didn't punch you. The truth is, life's not designed to make sense all the time. Sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it's garbage. Sometimes it's both on the same day. You can wake up feeling hopeful, then 5 minutes later you're questioning everything because your toast fell butter side down. That's not bad luck. That's the universe reminding you, you're not in charge here. And people love to act like life owes them something because they've been positive. Like, I've been manifesting abundance for months. Okay, but did you pay your bills? Did you apply for the job? Did you stop buying crystals long enough to look for real opportunities? Because it's not about sitting there humming on your couch until money appears. Life doesn't reward wishful thinking. It rewards participation, messy, uncertain, uncomfortable participation. Optimism gets dangerous when it starts replacing responsibility, when it becomes an excuse to ignore reality. Like, don't worry about it. Everything happens for a reason. Sure, but sometimes the reason is that you made a dumb decision. Sometimes the reason is that you ignored a problem until it exploded. It's not fate, it's consequences. And that's what I think people forget. Being realistic doesn't make you negative. It just means you're awake. You can acknowledge the mess without living in it. You can laugh at the disaster without pretending it's a picnic. That's a much saner way to live. Because if you build your peace on the idea that everything will go right, you're setting yourself up for constant heartbreak. But if you build it on the fact that things will go wrong often, spectacularly, and you'll still be okay, That's real freedom. You can stop chasing the illusion that happiness means being untouched by pain. You can stop trying to dodge every bad thing and just learn to roll with it. People say, life's what you make it. Yeah, but life also makes you. It shapes you with failure, disappointment, and chaos. And pretending that doesn't happen doesn't make you stronger, it makes you fragile. The people who can laugh when everything's on fire, they're not stupid, they're experienced. They've accepted that optimism isn't a magic spell, it's a choice to keep going even when it doesn't make sense. You ever meet someone who's genuinely calm, like nothing phases them? They're not positive, they're just done. They've seen enough nonsense to stop expecting life to behave. They've reached that beautiful stage of acceptance where you just shrug and go, yeah, that figures. That's real peace. Not the fake kind you get from motivational quotes, but the kind that comes from being repeatedly disappointed until you just stop taking it personally. I think that's the balance we're missing. It's not about being optimistic or pessimistic, it's about being honest. Honest that some days are great, some days are garbage, and most days are somewhere in between. Honest that you can want better without pretending it's already perfect. Because optimism without honesty is like sugar without food. It gives you a quick high and then you crash. It's temporary, shallow, and unsustainable. Real strength comes from laughing while you're sweeping up the pieces, not pretending the glass didn't break. And maybe that's the joke of it all, that the more we try to control life with positivity, the more it laughs at us. You can't bubble wrap yourself with affirmations. Life's gonna poke holes anyway. The trick isn't to fight it, it's to accept that chaos is part of the package. You're not being punished, you're just alive. So yeah, you can start your day with, I'm gonna have a great day. Just don't get mad when life hears you and says, challenge accepted, because that's what it does, and that's okay. Because in between the spilled coffee, the missed calls, and the small disasters, there are still moments that make you laugh, moments that make the chaos worth it. And maybe that's the real reason to keep going, not because everything's gonna be great, but because even when it's not, it's still something. Still ridiculous, still surprising, still worth waking up for. That's life. It doesn't care about your positivity, but it's still yours to laugh at. You ever notice how everyone loves throwing around the word hope like it's a solution to everything? People talk about hope like it's Wi-Fi invisible, magical, and somehow supposed to fix all your problems if you just connect to it. Something goes wrong in your life, and immediately you hear it, hey, stay hopeful. Yeah, thanks, Brenda. I'll keep that in mind while my life's falling apart. Hope's nice, but it doesn't pay rent. It doesn't refill your gas tank. It doesn't stop your boss from being a lunatic. We act like hope is this sacred power that can bend the laws of physics. Like, if you hope hard enough, your ex will text you back, your debt will vanish, and your hairline will grow back overnight. People are out here treating hope like it's a cosmic customer service department. Excuse me, universe, I've been hopeful for 3 weeks now. Can I get my refund on misery, please? The problem isn't hope itself, it's how people use it. We've turned it into a drug. We overdose on fake hope because it's easier than dealing with real life. It's emotional sugar. It gives you that temporary high like scrolling through motivational quotes at 2 a.m. and thinking, yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna change everything. Then you wake up and nothing's changed except now you're late for work and somehow even more tired. Fake hope is dangerous because it makes people passive. It convinces you that things will just magically get better on their own. Don't worry, everything happens for a reason. Sure, but what if the reason is that you keep ignoring reality? What if the reason is that you're sitting around waiting for life to change instead of actually doing something? Hope becomes an excuse, a way to sit comfortably in denial and call it faith. And then there's the manifestation crowd. Oh man, these people. They think you can just close your eyes, visualize a mansion, and the universe will FedEx it to your doorstep. Like the cosmos is Amazon Prime. They'll say, you just have to vibrate at the right frequency. What does that even mean, vibrate? I'm a person, not a phone on silent mode. And if the universe really responds to vibrations, then my anxiety should have made me a millionaire by now. It's wild how people will do anything except face the truth. They'll meditate, chant, light incense, write affirmations on sticky notes, and tape them to their bathroom mirror like little lies they have to rehearse every morning. I am wealthy. I am successful. I am enough. Meanwhile, their credit card's crying in their wallet. You don't need to lie to yourself to survive. You just need to be honest that things are rough and that's fine. Hope built on lies always collapses. Because real hope, the kind that actually helps you, it's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about believing that you'll figure it out even when it's not fine. Real hope isn't blind, it's bruised. It's the kind that limps through life saying, yeah, I'm screwed, but maybe I'll make it through this. That's the kind of hope that keeps people alive. But fake hope, that glossy Instagram version, that's poison. You know the type, all those just trust the universe posts, written by people who clearly don't have bills or responsibilities. The kind who can afford to surrender to the flow because their parents are paying the rent. For most people, life doesn't give you that luxury. You can't just trust the process. When the process involves eviction notices and overdue payments, hope gets weaponized too. People use it to silence others. You tell someone you're struggling, and instead of empathy, you get, don't lose hope. Like, thanks, that's helpful. Next time I break my leg, I'll just not lose hope instead of calling an ambulance. Sometimes hope is just a polite way of saying, I don't want to deal with your problems. It's lazy comfort dressed as wisdom. You ever notice how people love offering hope to others, but they never apply it to themselves? They'll tell you to keep your chin up, stay strong, believe in miracles, but if you follow them home, they're curled up in bed watching Netflix and questioning all their life choices. We're all hypocrites that way. It's easier to hand out hope like candy when you don't have to taste it yourself. The truth is, fake hope doesn't build you, it breaks you slowly. It's like standing in quicksand saying, if I just stay positive, I won't sink. No, you're still going down, but now you're smiling about it. At least if you accept the situation, you can start figuring out how to crawl out. Hope without action is just emotional procrastination. It's comfort that costs you growth. And the worst part, the more we cling to fake hope, the more we start avoiding pain, and pain is the only thing that teaches you anything real. Pain is life's way of saying, hey, maybe change something. But if you're high on hope, you'll miss the message. You'll convince yourself the pain is temporary, that it's all part of some divine plan, that it'll all make sense someday. Meanwhile, the lesson's sitting right in front of you with a neon sign saying, wake up! That's what's funny, we use hope to numb ourselves. We act like it's noble to wait for things to get better, when half the time, waiting is the problem. Hope can be a beautiful thing when it inspires effort. But when it replaces effort, it becomes poison. It turns dreams into daydreams. I've met people who've been hoping for years, hoping for a better job, a better relationship, a better version of themselves. And you ask them, what have you done about it? And they say, I'm staying positive. That's not a plan. That's denial with a smile. The world doesn't owe you anything for being hopeful. You still have to show up. You still have to get your hands dirty. Hope without reality is just another form of fear of disappointment, because that's what it is, right? We cling to hope because we're terrified of what happens if it's not true. If we stop believing, then what? We'd have to deal with the truth. We'd have to face the fact that maybe things won't work out the way we want. Maybe they'll fall apart completely. And that's scary, but it's also freeing, because once you stop pretending, you can start living. When you accept that not everything will be okay, you start appreciating the things that actually are. You stop needing the illusion. You start building something real. That's the difference between hope and fake. Hope, one's a light that guides you. The other's a flashlight with dead batteries you keep shaking out of habit. We've all been that person shaking the dead flashlight, telling ourselves, no, it still works. I just need to believe harder. And life's just standing there like, you could have walked by now. We don't move because hope gives us comfort. Even bad hope feels better than none. But the truth is, sometimes losing hope is exactly what you need. Sometimes that's the only thing that gets you to take action. Hope's supposed to help you move, not keep you still. It's supposed to live alongside reality, not replace it. It's not everything will be okay. It's maybe everything won't, but I'll still try. Anyway, that's the kind of hope that builds grit. That's the kind that doesn't need vision boards or daily affirmations. It just needs you showing up, failing, learning, trying again. And that's the kind of hope that survives when the fake stuff burns out, because the fake stuff always burns out. It's all bright and loud at first, full of big promises and trust the timing, but give it a few disappointments, and it starts to crack. The real stuff, though it's quiet, it doesn't make speeches. It doesn't need validation. It's just there, whispering, keep going. We don't need to kill hope. We just need to detox it. Strip away the glitter, the slogans, the sugarcoating, and what's left is something real, something honest. Not I'll get everything I want, but I'll survive what I don't. That's hope. Not fantasy, not delusion, endurance. Because at the end of the day, fake hope might make you feel good for a moment, but real hope makes you stronger for life. One numbs you, the other wakes you up. One keeps you waiting, the other makes you move. And that's the point. Hope isn't supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to be gritty, inconvenient, and a little painful. It's supposed to pull you forward, not tuck you in. So yeah, keep hope, but not the kind that lies to you. Not the kind that keeps you sitting still. Keep the kind that makes you fight for better, not fantasize about it. Keep the kind that makes you get up even when you don't believe it'll work out. That's real hope. And when everything falls apart, because it will, many times that real hope is what keeps you laughing in the mess instead of waiting for a miracle to clean it up. You ever notice how the second you stop pretending everything's fine, life gets just a little bit lighter? It's weird. You spend years trying to hold it all together, plastering on that fake smile, saying stuff like, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm blessed, while your soul is basically a dumpster fire. And somehow that's supposed to be normal. But the second you just say, you know what? This sucks, you actually start to breathe again. Like the truth somehow unclogs your lungs. There's something powerful about finally admitting, yeah, I'm not okay, and that's okay. See, that's the trick nobody tells you. Acceptance isn't giving up, it's giving into reality. It's when you stop trying to outsmart life and just go, all right, you win, let's do it your way. That's when things actually start to make sense, or at least they stop hurting so much. Because the fight is what kills you, not the situation, not the pain, not the chaos, but the constant need to make it prettier than it is. We live in this world where everyone's allergic to honesty. You say, I'm having a rough time, and suddenly everyone turns into your therapist or a motivational speaker. No, don't say that. Stay positive. Oh, shut up. Maybe I just want to be miserable for 5 minutes without a pep talk. Maybe I just want to feel what I feel instead of pretending it's a lesson from the universe. Everything doesn't have to be spiritual. Sometimes you just stepped in dog crap. That's not karma, that's a sidewalk problem. Acceptance doesn't mean you like what's happening. It just means you stop arguing with it. And the second you stop arguing, life stops feeling like a courtroom, because that's what it becomes when you fight reality, this endless debate where you're always losing. It shouldn't be this way. Well, it is. It's not fair. Yeah, welcome to the club. You can scream all you want, but reality's not negotiating with you. It's too busy being real. When you finally accept that, you get this strange kind of freedom. It's not happy freedom. It's not dancing in the sunshine freedom. It's more like, all right, this is the mess. I guess I'll live here now. And suddenly, it doesn't feel so bad. You stop wasting energy pretending the mess isn't there. You grab a broom, maybe a beer, and you start cleaning a little corner. Not because you think it'll be perfect, but because it's your corner, and it's all you've got. People who seem the most peaceful aren't the ones who have it all together. They're the ones who stop trying to. You look at them and think, man, how are they so calm? It's because they've accepted that life is permanently under construction. There's no finished version. There's always going to be a leak somewhere, a crack, a noise you can't identify. Once you make peace with that, you stop needing everything to make sense. We're obsessed with fixing things. Everything has to be solved, healed, optimized. You can't just be sad anymore. You have to turn it into a self-improvement project. You can't just fail. You have to call it a learning experience. No, sometimes it's just failure, and that's fine. Sometimes the only lesson is that it hurt, and you'll probably make the same mistake again because you're human. And that's fine too. You don't need to wrap pain in pretty paper. Pain is part of the deal. It's not a glitch in the system, it is the system. You grow from it, you break from it, and then you laugh at it later when you've had enough sleep and distance. That's the rhythm of life. It breaks you, then it builds you, then it breaks you again in a slightly different way just to keep things interesting. The funny part is once you accept that things are supposed to suck sometimes, they actually stop sucking so much because you stop taking it personally. You stop thinking, why me? And start thinking, of course me. It's not pessimism, it's realism. Bad stuff doesn't target you, it's just part of the human package. Nobody gets through this life without getting knocked over a few times. Some people just learn how to laugh on the way down. That's what real acceptance looks like. It's not peaceful meditation on a mountaintop. It's standing in traffic, holding a broken coffee cup going, yeah, this checks out. It's laughing at the absurdity of how everything always seems to go wrong right after you think you've got it handled. Acceptance is humor with a hint of surrender. You're not fighting life anymore, you're just dancing badly with it. And you know what? That's when you start enjoying it again. Not because it's easy, but because you finally stopped expecting it to be. You stopped thinking life owes you happiness or success or clarity. You start realizing that the moments of peace you do get, those little gaps between disasters, those are gold. You stop chasing perfect days and start appreciating the days that are just not terrible. It's kind of freeing, honestly. When you stop trying to control everything, you realize how much of your stress was just self-inflicted. You were never in charge anyway. You were just pretending to be. Life's like an untrained dog. It's going to do what it wants. You can either get mad every time it pees on the rug, or you can accept that the rug was doomed from the start and just buy air freshener. Once you start accepting the crap, you find out you've got a lot more room for joy, too. Because you're not comparing it to some fantasy version of how things were supposed to be. You start noticing the small, dumb stuff that actually makes you happy, like the coffee didn't spill today, the light turned green right as you got there, the cashier gave you the right change. That's it. That's the miracle. People think happiness is some giant event, like one day all the bad stuff will stop and you'll just coast through the rest of your life smiling. No. Happiness is the 10 seconds between problems where nothing's actively exploding. It's quiet, it's simple, and if you're too busy chasing the big picture, you miss it. When you stop forcing optimism and just let life be what it is, you actually start to enjoy the ride. Even the ugly parts, especially the ugly parts, because those are the ones that remind you you're alive. Nobody laughs harder than people who've suffered enough to know how ridiculous it all is. They've been through the storm, they got soaked, they lost their umbrellas, and now they just walk in the rain because, honestly, who cares anymore? It's just water. That's when life starts to feel lighter. You realize there's no finish line, no grand reward for being the most positive, most disciplined, most mentally stable person. You're not competing with anyone. You're just here trying to make sense of your own weird little existence one day at a time, and that's enough. You stop chasing the fantasy of someday. Someday when I have more money. Someday when I'm happier. Someday when it all makes sense. Someday is a trap. It never comes. Life's happening now in the confusion, in the heartbreak, in the half-burned dinner you still eat because you're too tired to cook again. You start laughing at the chaos instead of running from it. And that's the thing, laughter is acceptance in disguise. When you can laugh at something, you've already taken its power away. You're saying, yeah, it sucks, but it's also kind of funny. Because it is. Life's funny in the cruelest, weirdest way. It never gives you what you want when you want it. It gives you what you need 5 months too late and wrapped in confusion. But somehow, it still keeps going. And so do you. The beauty in acceptance is that you stop waiting for things to calm down before you start living. You start living right in the middle of the storm. You stop saying, I'll be happy when this is over, and start saying, I'll be happy anyway. That's not giving up. That's defiance. It's the most powerful kind of rebellion there is. Because when you stop needing things to go your way to feel okay, you become untouchable. You can lose, fail, fall apart, and you'll still laugh, still get up, still find something beautiful buried under all that mess. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. You've learned that the world doesn't owe you comfort, but it still gives you moments worth loving if you're paying attention. So stop fighting the storm. Let it rain, get drenched, laugh at how ridiculous it all is. You'll dry off eventually. And when you do, you'll realize that maybe, just maybe, the whole time you thought you were drowning, you were actually learning how to swim. You know what's funny? After all the complaining, the chaos, the pretending, the fake optimism, and the existential meltdowns, you start to realize something simple. Maybe optimism isn't the problem. Maybe it's just the kind of optimism we've been sold, the shiny, Instagram-filtered version where you're supposed to believe everything happens for a reason and the universe is your personal assistant. That's not optimism. That's delusion with good lighting. Real optimism doesn't look like that. Real optimism doesn't wear a smile. It wears scars. It's not about saying everything's fine. It's about saying everything's falling apart and I'll still show up anyway. That's the difference no one talks about. We think optimism means ignoring reality, but the truth is the best kind of optimism grows out of it, the kind that survives. It's the version that doesn't need things to be perfect. It just needs you to keep showing up. It's the kind that says, yeah, life's been kicking me in the teeth for months, but maybe tomorrow I'll still get up and see what happens. It's stubborn hope, not blind faith, just stubbornness in disguise. Because the truth is, life doesn't reward positivity. It rewards resilience. And resilience doesn't come from pretending, it comes from surviving. The people who are truly optimistic aren't the ones saying good vibes only. They're the ones who've seen how bad it can get and still find something worth waking up for. You can't fake that. You can't hashtag that. That's earned optimism. The kind that's built from heartbreak, disappointment, loss, all the stuff that tried to break you but didn't quite finish the job. The world tells you to look on the bright side, but sometimes there is no bright side. Sometimes it's just darkness, and you have to build your own light out of sarcasm and caffeine, and that's fine. You don't need the sun to come out every day to keep walking. You just need to stop waiting for perfect conditions, because perfect never comes. What's wild is how people think being realistic is negative. Like if you say, yeah, this is gonna be hard, people look at you like you just cursed the room. No, I didn't curse it. I just live here. Reality isn't negativity. It's the foundation of real optimism. Because when you accept things as they are, you can actually start doing something about them. You can't build anything solid on denial. It's like trying to fix a leak while pretending there's no water. Eventually, you're going to drown in your own nonsense. Optimism isn't supposed to erase pain. It's supposed to sit next to it. It's not, everything's going to be okay. It's, maybe it won't, but I'll handle it. That's courage. That's the kind of optimism that doesn't crumble when life gets rough. It bends, it curses, it complains, but it doesn't quit. It's real, it's ugly, but it works. You ever meet someone who's just quietly strong? They don't talk about how grateful they are every 5 minutes or post inspirational quotes every morning. They've just been through enough to know that no matter what happens, they'll figure it out. That's real optimism. It doesn't need an audience. It's not loud or dramatic. It's just there, quietly waiting in the background like, yeah, we've done worse. It's kind of amazing how the human brain still believes things can get better after all the proof that sometimes they don't. But that's the spark that keeps everything going. That little flicker of maybe that refuses to die out. It's the part of you that still gets up after you swore you were done.